afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much. Everybody here? All the GYTSers are here? Masha, are we missing any country? All good? All set? Great. I know you're going to work on finalizing everybody's here. So, welcome to the official simulation of the UNWTO General Assembly. One of the favorite appointments of our Secretary General. Correct, Surab? Which, thank God, happens every 2 years. No, this is the most important moment for us at the United Nations. Why? Because when the General Assembly meets, all of the member states, they sit and they have the right to speak, to express themselves, to ask for things. And sometimes they're complicated meetings, sometimes they're very easy. The last one was held in Spain for us. The previous one was held in Russia. And it's incredible how time flies and things change. But we are incredibly happy today to have you all, challenging you all for this very important and special moment. I would like to allow me, everybody, Minister Zurab Porolikashvili, all the distinguished guests that are here with us, to spare a few seconds of thank you. The first thank you that I would like to make is for the viewers that are watching our streaming, and they're always very patient with our delays. It happens, all right? It happens. We will then become a formal audiovisual production. So please, you guys, can you let the world hear you via YouTube? We're streaming live from the UNWTO YouTube video. If you haven't checked it yet, please do so and share all the beautiful videos and the streamings of the beautiful masterclasses that you have attended so far. So this is the end, or this is the beginning. I would tend to say that this is indeed the beginning. And we made some history. You guys have been fantastic because you've been patient, you've been ready to learn, you've been communicating. We hope you've been having lots of fun as well. Someone was missing a siesta, but I'm sure he's going to forgive us. So, thank you, Mika. Thank you. So, okay, so I have some thank you to give. And I would like to start by acknowledging, and every time I say their name, I would kindly ask you to join me. I will not be able, look at me, I cannot applaud. But you have to do it for me as well. I would like to acknowledge all the people that together with us holding our hand in your hand made this possible. Obviously, the two main people I would say that made this possible is Zurab Porolikashvili and Massimo Garavaglia, the Minister of Tourism of Italy. ENIT, who's the agency that, upon the instruction of Minister Garavaglia, made sure that everything was taken care of from the organizational perspective, supported by Gruppo EGA. Then we have Region Campania. You spoke before with Felice. I gave him a moment with the kids. So, Felice, thank you very much for being here representing your region. MSC Foundation. I don't know if MSC is here. If they are not, they will be listening to this recorded. We have Kelly Craighead that will be definitely conveying the message. MSC Foundation gave us a fantastic experience, which is the one you had yesterday, and the one of tomorrow together with Fondazione Mare Vivo. So can we please hear it from MSC Foundation, really shouting out loud? Thank you very much. Qatar Foundation. Where is all the beautiful delegation of Qatar Foundation that accompanies the GYTSers? Where are you? You're back in Qatar. In Capri. That's, Zurab, you see, people know how to live. Well done. Well done, Qatar Foundation in Capri, doing a little bit of tourism. But then you will be able to tell them that I thank them, yeah? The Global Tourism Economy Forum, Pansy Ho, big shout out for her. And obviously Peter Jordan. Aeroporti di Roma, Veronica. She will be talking to you a little bit, but Aeroporti di Roma, you might have noticed, you might have seen from Instagram, for everything, they branded the whole of the airports with our videos, with our beautiful identity, with your faces, obviously mute, saying, I stand for sustainable tourism. Also, you are there. MasterCard. You've seen them outside. Yes, you don't have a credit card yet. Emiratis, don't say that you do, okay? Please. Qataris, Bahrainis. You have a credit card, Aime? I said don't say it, you know? And anyways, Switzerland already has a credit card, so it's good. MasterCard, they enjoyed with us the journey, but the main reason they were supporting us here is also they have a great initiative regarding food, regarding slow food, so completely connected with our friends as well of FAO, WFF, with whom we've enjoyed a great session on food waste. Yes? A big shout out to MasterCard, please. And to FAO, WFF. The Bella Vista Institute of Higher Education. We have a huge delegation from China/Switzerland, but we are very blessed. Mr. Zhu is also our special advisor. Air Europa, who gave us the possibility of having some of our top UNWTO ambassadors. Miss Valeria Mazza was also the godmother of the event, and Miss Pilar Rodriguez that you've all very much enjoyed in the masterclass, yes? So a big shout out to Air Europa, and then we will scream for Valeria. Nutella, yes? They've been with us every single morning and break. When the girl of Nutella came to me today to tell me that she was leaving, I almost wanted to cry. But then we are making sure that they're going to hear our love all the way from Sorrento back to Alba. Yes? So thank you, Nutella. Meta. We all want to have those glasses that we've seen today, don't we? Okay, so they told you they have a booth. So go and negotiate. Be a tourism professional. Go and say how much, what do I want? ITU, International Telecommunication Union, another sister agency. Hosteling International, they've been supporting us in being your facilitators. Yeah? A big shout out to Hosteling International for being with us. Obviously, the National Youth Agency of Italy, without them, we wouldn't have been able to do this. And I'm sure my team agrees. Thank you very much, Agenzia Nazionale Giovani. Mare Vivo, but you'll thank them tomorrow. And then I would like to acknowledge some of the greatest speakers that we had with us. I'm going to start with this morning. I'm going to start with Miss Jayatma. She is the UN Special Envoy for Youth, all the way from New York to here, of our Secretary General, Antonio Guterres. Thank you very much, Jayatma. Minister Fabiana Dadone. Our superstars, starting with the new Ambassador Kelly Craighead. All the way to Didier Drogba. Pilar Rodriguez, we mentioned. There was also another person that he said he didn't really like speaking, and that is Rapolikashvili, but yeah. Thank you very much. Please, if I forgot anybody, what is Redda? I didn't forget Salam. How can I forget Salam? It was planned. Me and Reda are now best buddies. We were doing this. So, Salam Hamza Gate. I was trying to see in the audience if she was with us this afternoon. I'm afraid she went to Capri with Qatar Foundation, but that means she's enjoying herself, but we'll be seeing her. She's going to be with us until tomorrow, Reda. So you are going to be absolutely the happiest. Okay. That's it. After this, we would like to officially start with the speaking moments and the video messages. The UNWTO GYTS General Assembly simulation is officially beginning. Please. We thought it was important for us to repeat the message. This message is incredible. And this message will change our life and will change your life as well. And you might remember from the opening ceremony that we have had our fantastic godmother of the event, Valeria. We would like to officially ask you to remain as godmother of GYTS forever. Can you do that for us? Thank you, Valeria. Thank you for your... You've been sharing a lot with us, but I think for next time, the kids are going to want to enjoy more from you, yeah? Thank you very much for being with us all the way from Argentina. Mr. Secretary General, the floor is yours for the opening speech.
Good morning, buongiorno dear all. I could not imagine this year that I will be back to the General Assembly. We had 3 General Assemblies, extraordinary ones last year, and I was thinking that it's done. Next General Assembly we will have in Uzbekistan, in Samarkand. But again, we are here. I'm very happy to be here. Let me just in 1 or 2 minutes to explain how we work and what is General Assembly, because you have to know, I think so. I will be very quick. First, during 1 year, all year, we have 5 commissions. What does it mean? That we have commission meeting for all ministers by regions. So Europe, Africa, Asia, Middle East, and Americas. Then we have 2 executive councils, where we have 35 countries, now 34, where we meet twice per year, and these 34 countries are who are making all important decisions for the organization. And then every 2 years we have General Assembly, which we will inaugurated, and we will work now together, where all member states, as Alessandra mentioned, are coming. And during 3 or 4 days, we are making most important decisions in the tourism sector, our program of work, our activities. We are electing chairs, and also this is the place where we are elected Secretary General. First, Executive Council has to elect Secretary General, and then General Assembly to approve it. So all kind of important things we are doing during that institutional meetings. Now I will start, and I will be the real Secretary General. I will show you how we do it. Usually it starts with the address to host country. Now it's Italy. I want to thank to Italian government to host. Now we started, okay? Now we're in the process. I want to thank to Italian government to hosting us for their fantastic hospitality, to region of Campania, the mayor, first of all, Minister Massimo Garavè, his excellent team, Mayor dear Massimo Coppola, all who made this this General Assembly as nice and as beautiful. Of course, our excellent host, Hotel Hilton, who is hosting us, Marino and dear Dominic, thank you for your support. We really feel ourselves like it in our home, big home. We are not best guests maybe, but we try to be best. I want to officially open the General Assembly. We have agenda, we have participants. I want to welcome ambassadors, ministers, excellencies. Now you are ministers, imagine. Let me to brief you the main. Usually I have to talk about COVID, what's happened. The COVID was one of the hardest and toughest hit during this last 2 years. We were locked. This is first General Assembly we were inaugurated presentially. And usually I show the figures, the numbers, where we are, where is the tourism is, and let me to tell it to you. The 2022 started quite well. We have numbers of first quarter, the first four months, because usually we are publishing every 4 months the results, and first part of the year says that we have increased the numbers of international arrivals to compare with 2021, around 65–70%, globally talking. By regions, we have differences. Europe was the first. We had increase of around 75%. In Middle East, it was around 60–62%. In Americas, we had 65%. Again, I'm comparing 2022 first 4 months with first 4 months of 2021. The less movement we saw, but again, we have a growth around 52% in Asia. In Middle East, also, they are very prominent and very good results, which is 60%. More or less, we're talking about 70–72% average worldwide. That means that the people starting to traveling back, internationally talking, and we are very happy and very optimistic that this dynamic will continue. We see the summer is crowd. Sorrento is full. Same you will see everywhere. So tourism is coming back, which was most important question always from journalists at what we will do with over-tourism. And then COVID started. And then next question was that what we will do when tourism will be back. Tourism is back. And we see it in numbers, we see it in airports, we see it on flights, we see it on in cities. So again, back to our priorities. Our priorities still will be for next 2 years education, innovation. We are doing a lot of things in innovation, a lot of competitions by regions, by countries, global competitions in several themes. We started thematic competitions in sports and tourism, in gastronomy tourism, innovation in SDGs, and many, many other things. we did around 50 competitions. We supported, and companies, small and medium enterprises received around 50 million, which is not a big number, but for us it's big. And for them it's quite big support, around 50 million US dollars in 2021. Education, we started very important and ambitious project, and we announced just 3 weeks ago in Jeddah during our executive council that we will train 100,000 Saudis in Saudi Arabia. This is happening first time ever. It's very ambitious and very important project for Saudi Arabia, but at the same time we started to invest together with the government of KSA, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, in academy, which is the first, strongest and biggest academy in tourism, like online, at the same time offline, and in 2 years I think we will inaugurate, and it will be like a center. We have on the board such big names like Harvardis, like Cornelis, and all top business schools and universities, Instituto de Empresa for Spain, the most important and strongest business schools, all of them from Switzerland, by the way, with whom we are cooking the products and cooking the courses to export and then to teach all and to support all our member states. Youth, it was my idea, and I will not talk a lot about youth. You saw what we did together with you. This is our another star project, and we are very happy that it happened finally. And I talk about history and story, how we started it yesterday. Then sustainability is still, of course, our priority. We saw, all of us, we saw that all SDGs, 70 SDGs are linked directly with tourism, starting number 1 until all of them, we can link it with tourism, and we are working individually one by one. Plastic initiatives, you heard about our programs and projects during these days. I don't want to waste time on it. By regions we have, and I always report to General Assembly what we are doing, what kind of activities we had. Usually I have papers prepared and teleprompter to read, it's easier, not now for me. These are the projects we are going to open offices worldwide, our representative offices. This is something new for us as well. We are opening very soon in Brazil, in Brasilia, the office for Americas. And I forgot. So these are the projects we are talking about during commissions. You know everything about our program of work, and with it, I will be very happy during this General Assembly to discuss all issues, all questions you have. We can talk, we can make some changes, and very happy and welcome to Sorrento, welcome to our General Assembly, and have a nice, fruitful, and productive days. I'm sure many of you didn't know each other before. You meet with your colleagues, and use these days, be more active, and count always on our full support. Thank you very much, and I think, Alessandra, we can continue our General Assembly with next steps. Thank you. Grazie mille. I forgot a little bit how to do it, you know.
Sorry? Because you're in Sorrento.
I'm not ready today.
Yeah, I know. Okay. Thank you, Secretary General. Thank you. Please, I kindly invite you, if you can, yes, to start taking your seat over there. You guys are all seeing a table, yeah? This is exactly how it looks. This is the so-called presidential table, and normally it's the Secretary General and a few other people that we're going to nominate from. Actually, not nominate. We have to. It's done according to the UNWTO rules, so you're going to be going to sit there. But I don't want to anticipate too much because the rules of the game are coming a little bit later. Now, I'm going to move, me too. Can I move here on the podium? What do you think? Thank you. Should I ask Reda or should I just do it without his permission? Reda, can I move to the podium? Thank you. It's a solemn moment. The United Nations is an international organization founded in 1945. It's currently made up of 193 member states. The UN and its work are guided by the purpose and the principles contained in its founding charter. The UN has evolved over the years to keep pace with a rapidly changing world. But one thing has stayed the same. It remains the one place on earth where all the world's nations can gather together, discuss common problems, and find shared solutions that benefit of all of humanity. I would like now to introduce the video message of Mr. Abdullah Shaheed, the current president of the UN General Assembly in New York. SG, this is precisely like UNWTO. I made such an effort and then, no, it's okay, joking. No, I'm sorry, this is not the message. I'm sorry, this is not the message. Okay, by the time you find it, just remember the solemnity with which I said it. And yes, thank you very much. I'm sorry, we're not seeing it on the big screen. We're just seeing it on the screens in front of the table. Thank you.
Mr. Massimo Garavaglia, Honorable Minister of Tourism of Italy, Mr. Zurab Pololi-Kastvali, Secretary General of the World Tourism Organization, Excellencies, dear young friends. I congratulate the government of Italy and the World Tourism Organization for organizing this first Global Youth Tourism Summit. Tourism is no doubt one of the biggest casualties of the pandemic. Its collapse led to a significant decline in economies, affecting millions of livelihoods in tourism-dependent countries. Before the pandemic, the tourism sector contributed 10% of global GDP, 7% of global exports, and accounted for 1 in every 10 jobs worldwide. Its capacity to attract significant investments, generate jobs, and generate jobs, increase exports, and adopt new and emerging technologies makes it an important pillar for economic growth and development. This is particularly the case for countries in special situations, the LDCs, LLDCs, and the SIDS. Much of their achievements have been reversed or stalled in the wake of the pandemic. COVID-19's profound impact on the tourism sector globally accounts for much of these reversals. My friends, with the world slowly opening up, we must ensure a sustainable and resilient tourism sector emerges from the rubble of the pandemic. In line with this, I recently convened, in collaboration with the World Tourism Organization, a high-level thematic debate which focused on putting sustainable and resilient tourism at the heart of an inclusive recovery. The event was truly an historic occasion. It was for the first time that tourism was discussed in the United Nations General Assembly at a high level. Given the importance of tourism to the global economy, the goal was to advocate for the rebound of the tourism sector in a manner that accelerates sustainable recovery from the pandemic in ways that are inclusive and enhances the resilience of our economies. I see the rebound of tourism sector as a unique opportunity to maximize its contribution towards the realization of many of our international commitments. And this includes the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals and the Paris Agreement on Climate Change. Tourism plays a big role in decarbonization and can help accelerate global transition to low carbon and circular business solutions. Solutions such as sustainable energy generation, reduction of transport emissions, and the integration of nature-based solutions into tourism activities and operations. However, this will only be possible with inclusive and scaled-up investments in tourism. This includes investing in youth in tourism. Excellencies, with a total of 1.2 billion young people aged 15 to 24 years, today's youth make up 16% of the global population. By 2030, this number is projected to have grown by 7% to nearly 1.3 billion. Young people can play an important role in the recovery of the tourism sector. They can be agents of change, and recovery can be strong advocates for sustainable tourism. With the general increase in mobility, where people are able to work remotely, the duration of youth travel has increased. Since the young travel for longer periods and are keen to immerse in the local life, they also tend to spend a greater proportion of their budget in the destination, contributing to the livelihoods of local communities. Young people are also increasingly traveling in search for new experiences, aiming to get the most out of their travel. The host countries must understand the rapidly changing needs and desires of young people in order to stimulate their travel. Youth are important agents of change. Your creativity and innovation are assets as we leverage digitalization and data to transform the tourism sector. A recent survey revealed that more than 40% of those under 33 consider Instagrammability when selecting their next holiday destination. Likewise, as staunch advocates of climate and environmental issues, you can make immense contributions on sustainable tourism strategies. Youth employment and empowerment in tourism is key to a resilient and sustainable recovery of the sector. Providing career opportunities and entrepreneurship in tourism and ensuring that youth have a seat at the table is therefore vital. To succeed, we must put in place adequate support mechanisms, including but not limited to mentorship, soft skills development, workplace-based vocational experience, and leadership training. And we must leverage strong global partnerships to fully empower youth in tourism. We must facilitate financial support towards youth-led MSMEs and supplement services that support the tourism sector. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, we are at the moment ripe for change and adaptation. We must seize this moment to build development models that are people-centered, with youth empowerment at the heart of our efforts. This should be the case for tourism as well. Let us strengthen our partnerships and commitments to make this a reality for our young people. Thank you for this opportunity, and I wish this summit every success. I thank you.
Thank you very much to Mr. Abdullah Shaheed. I would now like to invite to the floor the man who believed in this from the very beginning, and the man who is allowing all of us to be here in Sorrento today, yesterday, the day before, and tomorrow, and that I believe is going to be looking forward to meeting with all of you always, because he also made new friends here. Please welcome on stage Minister of Tourism, Massimo Garavaglia.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Sorrento. Thanks. Thank you for the very useful suggestions that you have given to us already and you will give us in the final report. As Kachvili, Secretary General, has said, General Assemblies are used to set directions, to set guidelines, to discuss a vision, and then organize policies. We have heard United Nations before. Now, for the first time in its history, United Nations has devoted a session to tourism with a special attention to sustainable tourism. And I confess I had the honor to discuss and make a speech in the United Nations. And I was so excited more that when I got married. It is not a simple thing to speak in a different language from our in a glass building. It has been a very important meeting defining a very important subject, sustainable tourism. Sustainable tourism, I repeat. How to perform and organize a sustainable tourism. Yesterday we mentioned Paul Valéry, the poet, who used to write that the future will never be like before. That's true. In a few years, the world has changed. The world has to adjust rapidly. Paul Valéry has also said that the only way to implement a dream is to be awake. To be awake does not mean to get up from bed in the morning, but it also means to do our best and rush and run. We need the help of all, your help most of all. This morning we have been discussing a lot together with our friends and colleagues, ministers, whom I thank for their participation to this first world meeting of youth tourism. Issues discussed were very important. You have given us important suggestions, but that's not all. Each minister said that he will open direct link with young people in their own country to discuss all these issues. I contacted my Italian colleagues, and we shall involve in our future 10-year strategic plan all those issues, and we need your help. Why? To do so. Why? Because you are the Z generation, the first generation which is all digital, different languages, different tools, and we have to adjust to these different languages and tools. You are a generation which has a special focus on environment. Therefore, what is a dream can become reality thanks to concrete suggestions, the ones you have given today and you will give us in the final report. So we thank you again, you all, and thus be involved and engaged in creating and pursue a direct relationship with future policymakers. This morning, a young girl has rightly said she was ambitious enough to become the new policymaker, and you must be ambitious enough to help your countries for your country's sake. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Garavaglia. I would now like to introduce a very important man, a sister agency, Mr. Ku Dongju. I think I said it wrong, but I'm sure he's going to forgive me, who's the Director General of the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the global community is faced with multiple challenges: pandemic, climate crisis, conflict, and humanitarian emergencies, and the rising cost of living are making this world more difficult. The problems are converging and they are combining. The Sustainable Development Goals are reversing back quickly. Tourism and youth are critical to overcoming these challenges. Dear young friends, you are the key stakeholder of this planet. You offer imagination, ambition, inspiration, and determination for the present and the future. The UN family is prioritizing its engagement with you through actions such as the UN 75 Declaration's pledge and the creation of the UN Youth Office to ensure advocacy, coordination, and accountability on issues that concern the youth. At FAO, we empower the youth by founding the FAO Youth Committee, and I firmly believe that the youth can drive sustainable tourism for social and economic benefit, especially in the rural areas. Agriculture and forestry and fisheries are becoming increasingly popular tourist destinations across the world. Many are attracted to the beautiful landscapes such as rice terrace, oases, vineyard, or lemon gardens. Others are drawn to the unique traditional agri-food practices and cultures, including the local cuisines. Agricultural tourism holds a greater promise for the future. It can help us to redefine sustainable tourism, boost the farmers' income, and strengthen food security. We recognize the importance of these agro-ecosystems and the communities that sustain them. Therefore, globally important agricultural heritage system, the GYTS program, seeks to protect these ecosystems and to boost them with actions that support their livelihood. We are pleased to cooperate with the World Tourism Organization and the World Food Forum to promote sustainable tourism, driving the agri-food development and address food loss and waste. This requires youth lead solutions and actions. I hope that you will participate in the World Food Forum from 17 to 21 October at FAO headquarters in Rome. This is our second forum and is focused on empowering young people to actively shape our agri-food systems and achieve the SDGs. I warmly, personally invite you to attend. There will be many activities around the agri-food policy, innovation, science, education, and culture, and our contribution to the discussions are essential. Dear colleagues, the FAO Strategic Framework 2022-31 supports the 2030 agenda through the transformation to more efficient, more inclusive, more resilient, and a more sustainable agri-food system for better production, better nutrition, better environment, and better life for all, leaving no one behind. I look forward to continue working with all partners, including the youth, in an efficient, effective, and coherent manner for people, peace, planet, and prosperity. I wish you a productive summit. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Donju. So you have an appointment, but mainly your appointment is with the next Global Youth Tourism Summit. I would now like to invite to the stage Ms. Fabiana Dadone, the Minister of Youth Policies of Italy.
Grazie. Buon pomeriggio a tutti. Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. I thank Secretary General for this very kind invitation, Minister Garavaglia, and all dear colleagues, and most of all of you, boys and girls, for the meeting we held in the morning, which is always in the format of a chat, of a debate between ministers and boys and girls. And whenever there is possibility to break those barriers, to break those walls between youth and institutions, is always good. And indeed, it was a very good meeting, very positive, with huge food for thought, which will be an inspiration for my action. At the beginning, we said glad that this forum is held after the pandemic, so after 2 years on a distance, and all the difficulties that the pandemic led to. And I have to admit that I am very astonished in a positive way by your generation, because you boys and girls are very careful to social equity, to fair social rights. You care about the environment more than my generation cared, even if the distance is not very far, that's not very long. Your action has very huge impact also on tourism, which is the main topic of today's summit, in terms of sustainability, and your care about the environment. You show it also through your daily actions and choices. It's reflected on tourism because your ideas, your vision of holidays are different from what we had in the past. You care about rural tourism, you care about sustainable holidays with low environmental impact by respecting the environment, respecting local traditions. You prefer these two packages because you are searching for the unusual, for something interesting for you and to be a stimulus. You search for learning occasions, and so that's the reason why you really focus on holidays which become occasions to learn, to work, also by volunteering. So not a charity, not just charity, but also something that's linked to your own personality and also to grow up. Your generation looks for satisfaction from the world of job, and that's why tourism can become a huge potential, can have a huge potential in terms of future job, also in terms of technology as well. And creativity is indeed important in this job, in this sector. I think that all of us, we search for our destinations through travel influencers, and travel influencers are far more interesting than other websites because they let us know about some details which we would never find on other places, on other platforms. This is just to say that also our world, thanks to technological innovation and also thanks to creativity, can give some very good food for thought. And these creative hints can turn into a job, of course. You are here to do a simulation of an assembly, not just of a UN assembly, but you already care about sustainable development, about the environment. You're very active, boys and girls, but not everybody has the same possibility to access this information. So it's very important to let also other boys and girls know what you know, and this would be a very good strategy to break the walls that separate, that divide the world of adults from yours. Your generation demands for being heard. In the morning, I saw some translation of your proposal, and I heard Minister Garavaglia saying that at least he will keep a contact with the Italian delegation and he will try to boost your proposals in the tourism plan for our nation, because I think that without the opinion of your generation, you're not just future, you're also the present of this sector. Without your enthusiasm, without your activity, without you, we wouldn't give answers to the expectations of the COVID period, but also answers to these complex historical moment. So with all of you, we can build a different decision-making process, so turning in from a top-down process to a bottom-up process in order to achieve the objectives which can meet your expectations. So thank you very much for this.
Thank you, Minister. We're very happy that you came to join us here in Sorrento, and we know you have to catch a flight now. So We're continuing with a list of addresses, and after a powerful woman, I would like to introduce another super powerful woman, another UNWTO Special Ambassador, Ms. Eliza Jane Reid, the First Lady of Iceland and UNWTO Ambassador for Sustainable Tourism.
Hello everyone, and greetings from Iceland. I'm sorry I'm not able to join you in person for the Global Youth Tourism Summit in beautiful Sorrento. Actually, I'm not even just sorry, I'm pretty jealous that my schedule would not allow this visit. For what an incredible, exciting, unique opportunity you all have to take part in UNWTO's first conference that shines a spotlight on youth and what you can help to encourage sustainable tourism and the positive benefits it can provide. You are of a generation privileged enough to grow up in an era when international travel is relatively more commonplace than it used to be. That's generally a good thing, for increased travel and tourism, when done in a sustainable way, helps to build bridges between cultures, fosters understanding, contributes employment and to the well-being of societies, and of course, creates ties and lasting friendships among people. I bet that many of the people you meet at this event will become good friends, with whom you stay in touch, regardless of the physical distances that separate your homes from each other. And you're doing such important work here, making the world a better place for everyone, leaving no one behind. It's a noble ambition. You get to play a leading role in shaping the future of the global tourism sector within the framework of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. I'd like to thank Secretary General Zurab Pololikashvili and the UN World Tourism Organization for creating this important platform and recognizing how important youth participation is in the policymaking process. We need these voices, your voices, to have a say in how we shape the future. I myself am a passionate traveler, and as a UN Special Ambassador for Tourism and the Sustainable Development Goals, I am firmly committed to promoting sustainable tourism so that we can all continue to enjoy the benefits and fun of traveling. Perhaps I can offer a few lessons learned from Iceland. We Icelanders have seen firsthand how crucial it is to integrate sustainability into our travel industry. Tourism is one of the fastest growing sectors in Iceland, but our community is small and our nature is fragile. So while we do continue to encourage people to come visit us and enjoy the beauty of Iceland and our wonderful people, we also encourage tourists to take the Icelandic pledge. By taking the pledge, you agree to travel responsibly and to take part in keeping Iceland clean and unspoiled. We also encourage our visitors to take their time and travel slowly. It used to be the case that tourists would only come to Iceland during summer, and most would not venture far from the capital, Reykjavik. But we have been successful in getting people to travel year-round and spend more time here in all regions of the country. We are also fortunate that our energy is almost entirely renewable, so our houses are warm year-round, and my 4 children will tell you that our outdoor geothermal swimming pools are fantastic in any season. But what about in your home countries? What are you doing to promote sustainable tourism? What can you share about your country and your experience with other participants at the summit? And what can you learn from them, from each other? When people come together to think of creative solutions to big challenges, great things can happen. I know that while you're here, you will be inspired by the beautiful surroundings of Sorrento and by all the interactive activities the Global Youth Tourism Summit offers you. I encourage you to share candidly, be welcoming to different perspectives, listen and learn. Bring stories home and share your knowledge and enthusiasm with others. Thank you, and have a great summit.
Thank you very much, Elisa Jane Reid. Wherever you are, we really hope to see you soon. And maybe one day, Mr. Porlikashvili, we can have a GYTS in Iceland. Would you like to be in Iceland? Yeah, me too. I'm going to kindly ask the fantastic people that have been working and helping us from the audiovisual sector if we already have the message of Minister Di Maio ready to be screened on screen. Yes? So, ladies and gentlemen, the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation of Italy, Mr. Luigi Di Maio.
Signor Segretario Generale,
colleagues, ministers, dear girls and friends, boys and girls, I would like to thank the UN Organization for Tourism and Dadone, the Minister for the Youth Policies, and Minister Garavaglia. We are here thanks to the support of the Campania region and the municipality of Sorrento. This is an important signal for recovery of tourism that has been affected very badly by the pandemic of COVID-19. And now also having an impact because of the geopolitical crisis due to the unjustified aggression by Russia to Ukraine. Now, with the progressive slowing down of restriction to mobility, international mobility, tourism is recovering. It is indeed a leading sector in the post-pandemic recovery. In the first trimester of 2022, there has been an important increase in mobility, an increase of 3 times in travelers' numbers. The same was true even more in Europe, 4 times more than the first trimester of 2021. In Italy, the tourist sector has contributed more than 25% to the recovery. The presence of tourists is 2.7 and 10.2 million versus, well, I lost the figures, sorry. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation has contributed to the recovery with great involvement and in earnest to help the internationalization of firms involving all stakeholders, both public and private, in synergy with the Minister of Tourism, the NIT agency, and regional governments. We want to foster Italy as one of the best tourist destinations because our productions are very good, our culture heritage is excellent, and the territorial beauties are important, unique. So you, young people, must be aware that we must be a sustainable tourism, including education and culture. That's why in November 2021 we started a campaign of branding for Italy in order to tell about innovation in the most important enterprises to promote a virtuous model of tourism. Tourism at the roots, financed by Recovery and Resilience National Plan in order to offer a supply of tourist services, helping in knowing the basic roots of all the Italians who have been immigrants abroad in the past. We organize many important sport events. This is what we have done for the Made in Italy prize for championship, Super Cup, in the football championship. And we look at the Milan 2026 Olympics, that is Olympic game. We already submitted to Farnesina. So future events are not limited to the national territory. International events are real good opportunities. From October 2021 to 22 Dubai Exhibition Pavilion has seen a lot of tours and events organized by Italy to show the world creativity and culture, taking care of innovation, sustainability, people. Beauty connects people is our motto. This last successful experience following Expo Milan 2015 is strengthening our idea that we have to support candidature by Rome to host the international exhibition in 2030. The subject will be persons and territories, inclusion, urban regeneration, and innovation. That is, we should regenerate our territories in the light of green and digital transition. The involvement of young people on basic points in order to develop the country is part of the main agenda here. Last year, during our presidency of G20, we had Innovation League devoted to innovation and startup by young people. The attention to your expectations and hopes as represent the main pillars of the Italian presidency of the Committee of Ministers of the Council of Europe that was over in May. You have been the protagonist of Youth Forum of Main Dialogue, the Forum of the Balkan Young People, and the COP26 United Nations for Climate. We have enhanced your awareness and your capability to make proposals on climate, green and digital transition, technological innovation, and human rights. These important initiatives are coupled with opportunities organized by Farnesina for exchange of scholarships, training programs, and the enhancement of design talents in cuisine, art, and collaboration, what we call working holidays. The same approach of participation for training is a main characteristic of our cooperation to development. 1.8 billion young people exist in the world, and most of them live in developing countries. Thus, young people empowerment is of basic importance for inclusive, stable societies and to tackle change in climate, unemployment, gender inequality, and job lack. So we must look at the world for discovering new experiences, making new experiences, so that young people can reinvent the travel industry. Italy is an important destination of international tourism for diversity, art, heritage, cuisine, food, etc., etc. So the collaboration between the Ministry of Tourism, Foreign Affairs, young people organization, and tourism agencies can be really such that our country can be a trial, an experiment area, reconciling our culture with the new, what we call digital nomads and startups in this field, so that to make tourism more sustainable, more interesting. New generations can integrate part of the traditional made in Italy and couple it with new experiments by innovating travel industry and proposing a new model, reconciling real virtual electronic e-commerce and real estate investment for the sake of new nomads development. This summit, according to principles inspiring the United Nations meetings, asking young people to act, are going towards the right direction. We support these initiatives, and I hope that I will come to know your brief at the end of this summit. We want suggestions, innovative ideas, and thus be helped in our action to support inclusive, sustainable, and careful tourism. By careful, I mean taking into account the planet and young people requirements and needs.
Thank you, Minister Di Maio. We are also under the patronage of the Minister of Foreign Affairs. thanks to which we could solve some visa problems to get you all here as much as possible. I am 2 steps away from not breaking the rules, so this time I'm gonna hold myself, but I'm gonna communicate that there's gonna be a slight change in the program in the sense that after this roll call, we are going to have a little break. I think we all need it. So please spare a few more minutes of patience while I give the floor to Mrs. Maria Gabriel, the European Commissioner for Youth, Education, Innovation, Research and Culture.
Dear Secretary General Pololikashvili, dear Minister Caravaglia, dear Professor Priante, dear young people, it is a pleasure for me to be with you at the first ever Global Youth Tourism Summit. I would like to thank Minister Caravaglia and Secretary General Pololikashvili for the kind invitation. I'm impressed by your work to give young people a unique platform to share their innovative ideas and put forward proposals on the future of sustainable tourism. You have a strong supporter in me. Nowadays, not only our perception, but also the concept of tourism has changed. This is reflected by what young people have been telling us in the framework of the European Year of Youth 2022. Firstly, you told us that education and training is one of your main priorities for the year. And I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate all of you who have chosen to study and advance your career in the field of tourism. We need your knowledge, and I encourage you to continue along this chosen career path and with the competencies and skills you have acquired during your education to make it more innovative and attractive for young people. You are the best role models to do this. Secondly, you told us that climate change is a key concern. So, let's build the sustainable tourism of the future together. Here, we need your ideas. Along this path, let us not forget that sustainable tourism means not only taking environmental impact into account, it also means creating new jobs, reflecting the specificity and the diversity of the region, and attracting more young people to choose to live and continue their careers in the region. This I'm certain we can achieve together with you. Thirdly, who better than young people can support tourism and promote its sustainability through innovation? With your knowledge and with the help of new technologies, we can rediscover cultural tourism. As you know, Europe is the top tourist destination in the world. Over 500 million people visit more than 15,000 museums every year, meaning that cultural tourism represents up to 40% of all tourism in Europe. This is a significant share. To support the sector, we need to attract even more young people. For this, we have new technologies. They can make the sector itself, the skills, the know-how, the digital routes, even more appealing to young Europeans. Still, we need to strike the right balance between new technologies, giving young people more perspectives, but also young people who are aware that these new technologies cannot replace people-to-people contact. You can be the drivers of cultural tourism through programs like Discover EU, which allow us to rediscover tourism in a different way, through education, mobility, and cultural exchanges. We'll continue to work together to develop even more cultural routes. Here, I would like to challenge you with a proposition. Shall we not use one of the Discover EU meetups to organize a discussion about the role of young people in tourism? If so, where can we organize the meetup? I look forward to hearing your ideas about this. So, dear young people, you are part of a sector that combines the main priorities of the European Year of Youth: education, climate change, the digital transition, sustainability, inclusion, and regional diversity. I encourage you now to share your ideas for specific initiatives with which to attract more young people with the necessary skills and competencies in the tourism sector. How do you think we can make the sector more sustainable and innovative through new technologies which meet the aspirations of young people? How will this help us promote regional and European diversity and our extraordinary cultural richness? We need your vision to build a stronger, more resilient and more sustainable tourism of tomorrow. Thank you, and I wish you much success at the first Global Youth Tourism Summit.
Thank you very much, European Commissioner. We're very honored that you had it in your agenda. I remember that. You confirmed it live to us. And then obviously your commitments are of very high importance in this moment. And now the presidency of the Czech Republic is going to begin soon. So thank you very much for addressing us. We're very flattered. Before I invite my last speaker on stage, my hero, I would like to ask a few seconds of your attention for a surprise video message that we have received from Minister Mara Carfagna, the Minister of Youth for this beautiful country, Italy.
Welcome to Sorrento. I am really sorry I cannot be with you in person today for this first Global Youth Tourist Summit. Meeting young people is always a breath of fresh air. Especially now, after the COVID epidemic, it is important to relaunch travel as an educational experience, but also as an opportunity for union, friendship, and sharing. Getting to know different peoples, getting to know different countries is the best antidote to the intolerance and hate that too often occur in our societies. Many of you, I imagine, are discovering the beauty and the warm welcome of southern Italy for the first time, and will return home with the memory of a land rich in history, art, and nature. I would like you to become ambassadors of the beauty and warm hospitality of southern Italy. And then, if any of you considers the idea of coming to study or work here, please be aware that in 1 to 5 years' time, you will find southern Italy just as charming as now, but much better in terms of material and digital connections, personal services and opportunities. We are working hard on that with great investments and reforms. Looking forward to meeting you all, perhaps at the next opportunity. Welcome among us. Welcome to southern Italy. I wish you good work and also good fun. Bye bye, arrivederci, a presto.
Thank you, Minister Carfagna. For those of you who don't know, she's actually from Sorrento. So I think Sorrento is very proud to have such a personality at the highest level of the government. Definitely a role model for women, just like Ms. Fabiana Dedone, just like Maria Gabriel, just like Eliza Jane Reid, and just like a very, very special lady that has had the patience to wait to do the closing of this routine of addressing messages. Please allow me to welcome on stage Ms. Jayatma Vikramanayake, the UN Secretary General's Envoy for Youth. Jayatma.
Hello. Lots of speeches, huh? Well, welcome to the UN. I'm kidding. All the previous speakers were great, and I'm sure you can't wait to get into the conversations of the WTO General Assembly simulation. So let me address you not as dear young people, but as dear delegates. It's an honor to join the United Nations World Tourism Organization General Assembly simulation today. And thank you for taking part in this simulation, taking place at such an important time during the Global Youth Tourism Summit, where you will be wrapping up the important conversations of the past few days, and for believing in the power of global cooperation to solve global problems. Our planet needs your active engagement and your bold ideas now more than ever. When debating in the UNWTO General Assembly, there are some critical themes to keep in mind, such as digital transformation, sustainable development, social justice, and social responsibility. The debates that you are having are part of what will shape the future of tourism for young people, but they're also bigger than that. They are about the role of young people in the multilateral agenda. Young people are agents of positive and transformational change, and you are pivotal for the successful implementation of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. Your ideas, your innovation, your drive, and your creativity are critical in building a more sustainable, equal, and just world for all. The United Nations has been an important supporter of the leadership and agency of young people. The UN Youth Strategy, Youth 2030, was launched 3 years ago with the launch to enhance the work of the United Nations as an intergovernmental organization to engage young people meaningfully at all levels of its work throughout different UN agencies and country offices around the world. The UN Secretary General, my boss, has also presented an agenda called Our Common Agenda last year, and with his vision and his recommendations for the next 25 years of work for the United Nations. This is an important agenda, not just for member states, but for you as global youth. Young people are at the core of the efforts that are mentioned in this report, especially when it comes to reimagining what meaningful youth engagement in global conversations look like. This simulation is a powerful step towards a more inclusive and intergenerational future, one in which young people are fully engaged in decision-making as partners, not as beneficiaries. I truly believe that it is the only way that your participation is ensured in designing our shared future that we will achieve through the Sustainable Development Goals. We have been facing crises as humanity, including the COVID-19 pandemic, the climate crisis, and young people have been, as repeatedly said this morning, affected by the global instability, especially the most marginalized groups, whether it is through youth unemployment, school closures, the digital gap, or even the lack of access to basic resources in natural disasters or conflict zones. We recognize these obstacles posted to youth that are standing in the way of young people achieving their full potential. But I know that we can turn things around. The 2030 Agenda, the initiatives that followed, such as Youth 2030 and the Common Agenda that I just mentioned, they provide a blueprint to reach a more sustainable and a more peaceful and inclusive world. Having young people as active and meaningful participants in discussions as the one you are having today makes me hopeful. Hopeful for a future where the status quo can be challenged and changed and transformation can be achieved. Young people's energy, your ideas, your courage, and bold commitments are already setting our world on track for a better and a stronger future. You, as I said in this morning, are the largest generation of young people in the history of our planet. Therefore, this is an opportunity and great momentum to achieve the sustainable future that you want. The world is experiencing its biggest shared test since the Second World War, and to build inclusive a world going forward and solve urgent crises resulting from COVID-19 and the climate change crisis, we must foster solidarity, not just among young people, but also with older generations and the generations to come after us. So please count on the United Nations as your strong ally and partner to build a more sustainable, inclusive, and resilient world for all. I ask the government representatives in this chamber today to include young people also in your national delegations to UNWTO. So beyond these simulations, you can actually have a seat at the table in where the actual decisions are being made going for the future. So I wish you a productive and fruitful debate. Thank you very much once again for your attention. Thank you, Alison.
Thank you very much, Ms. Jetma, for this incredible address. So, Some housekeeping information from the floor. I am now officially closing the opening of the UNWTO General Assembly simulation. I really would like to thank all of you for being here. Not all of you GYTSers, because you are going to be a protagonist of some very important deliberations in just 15 minutes time. But I think now it's very important that we all go and refresh ourselves, eat, drink, breathe, think of what you have in mind. There was in the QR code of your badge in the back, the Sorrento call to action from this morning has been made public. The document is the document on which you will work during this simulation session. So make sure that you're reading it. Make good use of your break. And given the situation, I would like to start recalling you at 17:30 or back here. Thank you very much.